Hi, I'm Beatrice Go and welcome to Rappler Talk. Last March 27 was a historic night for Philippine football as the Azkals clinched the first Asian Cup berth of the Philippines. Today, we are here with James Younghusband and Phil Younghusband, who have been constant fixtures with the Azkals since the 2010 miracle at Hanoi. So hello, Phil and James, and welcome to Rappler Talk.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having us.
So are you still riding on last week's high? Still can't get over it?
Well, we've been busy the last few days, so our mind has been taken away from it a bit. But every time we have a quiet moment, you still think about what happened last week and all the emotions that went through with it. So it's still on our minds, but we have to. There's some things that are happening at the moment that we have to think about.
Yeah, I'm still buzzing, to be honest. Good thing is you have social media, so still all the pictures there and I'm always looking at the pictures and thinking, the feeling at that precise moment, and yeah, just still really happy and buzzing, and yeah, looking forward to the whole year still.
Yeah, you have one more year until less than a year until the UAE 2019. And so you guys have been part of the history of Azkals since 2010 miracle at Hanoi, and it's only you and Neil left. So what's the difference between this historic feat compared to your last ones?
You go first.
I think this way there's a lot of similarity. I just think the difference is we're a lot older. We're the veterans now. I think this year, before back then, it was the first time we'd qualified for. First time we qualified for the semi-finals of Suzuki Cup. This time it's the first time we've qualified for Asian Cup, and be playing in the same tournament at the same time as the likes of Australia and Japan. These are the big guns in Asian football. So it's massive, and just as I said earlier, just really looking forward to it, and it's great to see the amount of support we've got, and now that some people come up to us and say congratulations, and it really feels good that people are recognising football again, and they follow the game and they follow the news of football. So yeah, I'm really happy.
I think for me the big difference in 2010, we didn't expect anything. We went into the competition looking to compete, but we were known as the whipping boys of Southeast Asia, and we got a result against Singapore, and then we got a result against Vietnam, against the holders at the time, and they'd just beaten, was it Myanmar 6-0?
7-1.
7-1 in their game before that. So we didn't expect anything in that competition. With this one, we had high expectations. We've been able to make the squad stronger. The team's a lot stronger. We have a lot more support than what we did back in 2010. So I think the expectancy was a lot higher with this competition, and we had the opportunity to qualify last year, but we didn't take it. Then we had another opportunity, didn't take it, and then this final moment, I think it was a bit of relief as well as excitement and happiness, and just realising what the feat we'd done, because the next step is the World Cup after Asian Cup. You don't get any higher than the World Cup, and this is one step away from the World Cup. So for us, this is we didn't have the as I said, in 2010 we didn't expect anything. So anything we did, it was just amazing. And as James said, we were younger then, so you thought, in the future we could try and improve and do a lot more. But now we're in our 30s. We don't know when the next time will come. And we tried 4 years ago but failed. So if it happened in another 4 years' time, who knows where we'd be 34 and 35 coming to the end of our career. So to know that we've achieved this at this stage in our careers, it's a dream come true.
And you mentioned that you had the chance to qualify last year already, but then it was a draw.
Yeah.
2 draws.
Yeah, it was 2 draws, and now you qualified at home. So do you think that it was meant to be?
I think it dramatically it worked out. Entertainment factor, I think it worked out. I said this before as well. I think I said when after the game, things kind of settled down. Me and Phil were roommates, and we got back to the room, and I actually said to Phil, like, we qualified already in the Middle East when we played Gem, and it would have been nice. But then we drew, and then we went to play Nepal in Nepal, and we drew again, and we're obviously disappointed at that because we saw that as an obstacle, just a previous result against Nepal, and we were really disappointed with that. But then we got given we still had one more game left, and it was at home here in Manila, and we got so we had the home support, and I think like the way the game went, when going 1 goal down, I think the crowd made a big difference. Just the support when you're on the field and you hear the roar of the crowd, when you just get the ball and you make it just a simple pass, and the crowd appreciate that. It gives you motivation, and it gives you that extra percentage to work hard, and I think it worked out in the end.
Yeah, for me, it was it was a big chapter in what's been a roller coaster of a journey for us, and I think for me there was, if you'd asked me last year when do we want to qualify, I'm sure we would have said now. But after going through the qualifiers, I think having done it, as James said, in front of our own fans, on our terms, we in our home country, that was the perfect way to qualify. Had we been in Nepal where we had maybe 7 fans, maybe the emotion wouldn't have been as high. But to do it in front of our own fans, with what happened during the game, to go a goal down, then to equalise, then to go ahead, I think it was a perfect script. And I think a lot of the players, speaking to Patrick Reicher after the game, he's like, it's the perfect story, perfect story.
Perfect movie.
If you could write a movie, that would be the story-line. And
he likes his movies, like me.
If you could write a story-line, that would be it. So and like Kevin as well, he was down, but he rose to the challenge and ended up equalising, and that's a great story as well. And to share it with my brother as well, that was amazing.
Yeah, this was a real life movie. He didn't need any script at all. And then, so I know that by this April, Philippines will reach as high as FIFA ranking of 113, and you'll be among the ranks of Asia's best team. So how do you feel that the Philippines deserve this?
I'll go ahead. Yes, definitely, most definitely. I think it's always hard to find the right measurement of the development of Philippine football. I think obviously it's been 8 years now since 2010, and there was the big rise of Philippine football, the awareness, and of course that's it. It's the expectations are there, and obviously the awareness went a bit down because we kind of didn't have this success similar to 2010, and you can say until now, and it's sort of been an up and down way about it. And but I think behind the scenes, in terms of like the standard of football on the field, in terms of at least like we have a league now here in the Philippines, and I think you've got more people following football globally as well. So there's things that go on that people may not be aware of in terms of development, but I think like us as qualifying for the Asian Cup shows that there is development happening, and it's going in the right direction in some cases.
James and I, we always talk about progression, and no matter how big or how small that progression is, you need to keep progressing and moving forward. And when James and I went in 2005, 2006, when we joined the national team, we were 192. Now we're 113. That's progress, within 13, 12 years. No matter how long it takes, it's progress. And then, at that time, it was just about trying to qualify for the Southeast Asian Championships, known as the Suzuki Cup now. It's just about trying to get amongst those teams. And now to be in a competition with the top 24 teams in Asia, to put it in perspective, it's an amazing feat, and something we're very proud of. And as I said earlier, the next step is, can we get further in World Cup qualifiers, and can we try and there's news that the World Cup tournament will enhance the number of teams that will be involved in the main competition. So maybe that's another opportunity for us in the future.
Yeah. Going back to what Phil said about when we first joined, I mean, it's just maybe one tournament a year that the Philippines
And we're
participate.
fortunate to have that.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have that. We wouldn't really participate in FIFA friendlies on international breaks. So back then, there was just one tournament a year. You'd get together, there'd be tryouts, you'd get together and play one tournament a year. Now we're participating in 2 or more tournaments a year. We're looking to have friendlies in each FIFA dates, international window. And that, I think, there you go, there's progress there that the senior team, Philippine senior team, are playing more football, and that's what you need. You need to, whatever you're doing, you need to do more of it to become more experienced.
And then when you and you mentioned after the during the post game interview that 2014 was actually the bottom or like the dip in Philippine football. Yeah, in the after the Suzuki.
2004.
Okay,
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, it was a moment. It was a very sad moment, for us.
And you had progression on your mind. So during that time, that moment, did you have that on your mind?
Losing the final, losing a chance to win a big major competition and to qualify for the Asian Cup during that time, that we were also disappointed. We'd been through a lot, but that was, I think Rob Gear explained it as one of the saddest moments in his professional career. Not being able to, and one of his biggest regrets, not being able to qualify in 2014 with such a great squad and great opportunity. So. Progression is always on our mind, but you have to remember before that we'd reached the semi-finals. That was our best achievement in the Challenge Cup, and then it was the final. Unfortunately that competition is no longer around, but had we entered it next time, maybe we could have won it, and that would have been progression again. So progression is important, as I said, no matter how big or how small. But during our minds, during that final, that was a sad moment for us. But it was still progression and still something. When you look at after, you think, oh no, that was the time we moved forward.
Word of the day: progression.
Yeah. And so, what's so special about this team that qualified for the Asian Cup?
I think what's special about it is that I don't really like to think it's just the ones who were involved on the field or the ones. The start, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I always say, like, after as Phil said earlier, the likes of Rob Gear, Chris Greyrich, Juan Iguarada, these guys have influence as well to where we are today. Like, just having these guys around, like, I look at them like I looked at them and still look at them as role models. Really, these guys, like, they've passed on a lot of wisdom to me and like experience of. Like, when I was younger, I was a completely different person, but thanks to these guys have given me great advice. And there's been lots of people who've been part of the national team in the past, and they're part of this massive achievement as well. I just think this group, this squad, there was just that balance. You had the older players, and then you had players in their, you could say, in 20s, and then you had younger players as well. So you sort of have that balance of older players, and then you have youth, and then I think like the staff we have, like, there was a lot of positivity in the camp, and there has been as well in the past, and just like everyone was focused on this mission. And I think with the 2 games before, with the Yemen game and the Nepal game, that disappointment, I think maybe you say the Christmas break kind of gave us a time to go back with our families and reflect and look at the mission ahead, and I think, we're mission accomplished.
Yeah, as James said, I don't think there was, this group is this special group, but the group isn't just what happened in the qualifiers. The group is, from the start of the journey years and years ago. That every little bit of contribution from a player or staff or management, supporters, it's all contributed to this goal. And I think if you're missing some sort of element within there, these sort of things don't happen. So I think credit goes to everyone involved. This camp was a especially good camp, I think, towards the end of last year, with a busy schedule within the domestic league, with a lot of travelling, with a lot of games. Players were feeling quite tired, and they wanted to spend time with their families, and maybe maybe not mentally right at the time. But we had the break during Christmas. We were able to come back, train hard, work hard, play some games within the league. And I think that benefited us, having that little break during Christmas.
Yeah, and also, like, I like to keep mentioning names from before, but you look at Anton Del Rosario as well, and Ali Borromeo. These are guys who, when me and my brother first joined as 18, 19-year-olds as like these are guys who help welcome us to the Philippines and help bring us, help us transition into the national team when we first joined as 18, 19-year-olds. And Doc Gonzalez, these are guys like, these were the older guys back then, and these guys helped us transition into and welcomed us with open arms. So they should be given credit as well.
Yeah, speaking of transitioning to the national team, someone from social media asked, so how does it feel like living here for so long, like since you came here?
Love it. I love it.
If we didn't like it, we'd try and move somewhere else.
No, we love it here. Like, we decided to come here with our mother and our little sister, and at first it was a struggle, and but we have great people around us. We have great like the likes of Kathy Revilla, Jojo Durian, and Max Chua. Like these guys, and so many more. Like they help us. I said they welcome you with open arms. I think that's down to Philippine culture. It sounds cheesy, but it's the truth. The culture is family, and that makes that transition easier, and it makes you not want to leave.
Yeah, I think we haven't been alone. We've always been around such. We're together. Had one of us just gone on our own, may have been a bit more challenging. But we came together. Our little sister, our mum came with us, and then we met some amazing people along the way. This good-looking guy right here.
Not me.
So it's been made a lot easier, and by the people we've surrounded ourselves with. So we'll always be thankful to everyone who's been part of our lives.
In terms of Philippine football, what made you guys stay here in the Philippines?
Potential. I think there's potential, and you know what? Like, I think it's just the time of it. Our first tournament was in Bacolod actually, and it's where football was really popular there. And our first tournament was in the SEA Games in 2005, and you saw how supportive the people were. They come in, and like it was great to play and perform in front of everyone there. And I mean, we saw potential, and then it's kind of a little bit of a shock that we go back to Manila, and you don't quite get that back then. So it was like we want to spread football. We want to help develop the sport here, and we want to be part of making history here.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, as James said, there's Philippine football has so much potential. Philippine sports has so much potential, and we're strong believers that sports is the answer to everything. Social issues, health issues, crime issues. It can help with everything, and that's why we try and. Also speak to local governments about trying to promote sports and football, and that they've been very supportive in helping us run programs. We have the Younghusband Football Academy as well, which we enjoy. We enjoy playing, we enjoy coaching, we enjoy seeing the progression of Philippine football, and we feel we have a value. We have a value here, and as much as we've worked hard, Philippine football has also made us feel very welcome, and the people involved in the sport have also welcomed us in with opened arms and taken us in, and it's just been and the progression, as we mentioned earlier, the progression's been amazing. So you always feel as long as we keep moving forward, there's more we can do.
Yeah, my brother said it a while ago. Sorry, just when it comes to sports, it's always positive. There's always positive. There's nothing really negative about sports. You look at when the Philippines achieves a sport, it's positive, and how much pride that brings to the country. And as Phil said earlier, it's in terms of the benefits it can come. It's like, for example, if you get into football, you don't have to it's not a requirement to become the best player. It's just the things you can learn from football in terms of teamwork and in terms of discipline and values that could help you with another aspect of your life and other career that you can do. And I think that's the great thing about sports.
In line with promoting football to the local communities, we have another question where, because football is seen here as not the sport for the masses, it's usually basketball.
Elite, yeah.
So do you want to change that perception of the locals, or and how do you plan?
I love that question. Sorry, did you want to say?
Okay.
It's agree. It's for everyone. It's everyone. look at countries that maybe quite similar to the Philippines, such as Brazil, Argentina, where look at likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. Like they didn't grow up as with like tons of money. They had to work hard, and they've achieved their success through hard work and determination from playing on the streets. I think like me and my brother, we learned football like with ourselves, not teaching ourselves, but we learned playing football on the streets with each other, with our friends, through street football. And I think it's like the likes of the Philippines, you have like it's great basketball. I'm a big fan of basketball. I think it's great if you have loads of basketball courts. Like you can look at developing the sport of futsal. Futsal, it's kind of a blend of basketball in terms of number of players, in terms of the court size is similar. So I think that if we really look at developing our futsal program here in the Philippines, that can be a form of grassroots.
Yeah, I don't understand how football received the perception of being, for the elite, being expensive, having high costs, because everywhere else in the world it's known as the working class sport, the sport for everyone, the sport for all, universally known as the sport for all and for the masses. So I don't understand, maybe because the right programs were not set in place where people could play for free. If you go to other places in the world, they've got huge fields and grass facilities where big communities can come down and just run around. You go to when we've been to Davao, Bacolod, there's lots of fields and grass where you just see kids playing football. Maybe that's been restricted in Manila because of maybe the lack of land or facilities available. But we when we grew up, we were able to just go to the park and play without it didn't cost us anything, and I think that's the case everywhere else in the world. But maybe in the Philippines, just maybe the programs decades ago have not been implemented where communities and kids can play the sport for free, and they have that that luxury of being able to just go to a field and go with their friends and kick a ball about, because you can kick anything about. We used to kick balloons in the house. We used to kick paper, anything in the house, we'd kick it. And maybe that hasn't, as I said earlier, maybe just because a lack of exposure and a lack of convenience where kids can go and play in the streets or in the fields, that has contributed to football being known as a sport where you need to be able to buy football boots, buy shin pads, buy equipment. You don't need that. I can take anything from here and play football. That's how it is known across the globe.
Yeah, you can ask our next door neighbour when we were younger that we used to break the pipe beside their house because we'd kick a ball around and we'd break a few windows and stuff. But as I said, you don't necessarily need a massive facility, state-of-the-art facilities. Of course, that's going to help in the future for developing the sport and entertainment factor. But me and my brother, we've travelled around the Philippines where there's lots of Philippine community. The young kids at a young age where they play barefoot on grass or on the streets, they've got great technical skills. It's just that opportunity. We need to come together and create more opportunity for them to test those skills and play more good games and leagues. And yeah.
Yeah, obviously we always try and promote rather than, we see a lot of condominiums and offices, developments, but it's so refreshing just to go outside and see a park or a field or, green trees, that's so refreshing, and it's good for the environment, and it's great for the community. So every time we see a development company and invest in a piece of big land where it's for the development of the people, then we always have huge respect for that development.
Yeah, I think it's great to see in young kids these days when they be creative, or anyone be creative, especially be creative. I think, as Phil said, we always look for ways to create football with whatever things we were given.
So speaking of programs, did you, aside from talking to local governments, did you have any programs that actually provide free football education?
Well, we can when we find sponsors. Obviously, some programs we need to charge a fee because we need to pay for the coaches, or we need to pay for facilities, because trying to use the facility, everything has a cost. So, but when we have partnered with LGUs, or we partnered with private sponsors, we've been able to run programs. We did programs with GK. We did programs with we did one with Hyundai before.
Garrett Killing.
Yeah, GK.
Yeah, GK. Sorry, that's right. My bad.
yeah, with local governments, we've done train the trainers where we've been able to bring the PE teachers together. We've been to Tarlac, Palawan, here into Gig. We've been to, sorry, Coach. Bicol. We've been to Bicol. So we've been to quite a few places where we've been able to bring the PE teachers from in public schools together, and that's been sponsored. We've been able to teach them, the basic rules of football, how to make use of, how to maximise a small space where you can play football with limited equipment. So any way we can try and make it as easy and convenient for the public to play the sport we love, then we will try and find those opportunities.
Yeah, as well. Like I said this to my friend the other day as well. Like we hope that when we go to these places where we teach the PE teachers, that if they just remember one little drill that we said, that will mean a lot to us in terms of that will help. They'll pass it on to the kids then as well. I'd like to see as well for the future if we can get more football actually shown from other countries, or even the PFL here, like get the league on TV, where that's how I learned. Me and my brother learned. We watch it on TV, or we watch it online and social media. And when you watch that, it inspires you to go out in your back garden or go out in the street and start kicking a football around. I know Phil, when he watches Wimbledon, he wants to play tennis straight after. I mean, it's just that you're sort of inspired and motivated after you watch what you see, watch what you see on TV or online.
Oh, going back to being to the Azkals. For Phil, you were the lead scorer of the team, and then but then in 2014 you were utilized more as a playmaker, but now you shifted back to being
more attacking.
Sorry, it's more
further
technical,
upfield,
but so it's more you're back to your role. So how was that transition, like from playmaker to striker?
Well, it's definitely good for my development as a player and as a person. I transitioned into it after Rob Gear retired. I became captain as well, so that was part of that changed my perception of, and I had to look from the outside rather than just look from within, and I had to get different perspectives and communicate a lot more. So me and James, we've always been instilled with the attitude, to have the best attitude possible, and no matter where we're playing, whether we have to play in goal or whether we have to play in defence, in midfield or attack, as long as we're contributing and we can give our best and work hard, then we're happy to play anywhere. Obviously, there's certain positions that we feel we can, have our best performances and best displays, but for me and James, we will, no matter where we're put on the field, we'll give our best and give our all. It's down to the coach. The coach makes decisions who to play and where he wants them to play. And as a player, you have to respect them, but at the same time, give your feedback, and that's what we try to do. Obviously, I feel more comfortable higher up, trying to score goals. But I felt comfortable, trying to contribute more defensively and help my teammates out that way. So no matter where I am on the field, as long as I'm able to help and work hard and contribute, then I'll be happy. But if I don't feel comfortable, I'll let the coach know.
There's a follow-up question. What was your most memorable goal?
Most memorable goal?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Has
to involve me,
yeah.
It does.
Most memorable goal would probably be either the Vietnam goal.
The
2-0, yeah, second one, or the one last week. So one of those two would be because they were part of
the occasion.
I think it was the occasion, and no matter how they went in, whether it was a penalty or whether it was my left foot, right foot, or head, it was the moment, celebrating with my teammates after those games that felt most special to me.
For James, so you've been starting in, is it around 2014? You weren't being called up for some games,
I had a time off for the national team.
but this time when you come off the bench, it seems like you really make a big impact, like as a target man, and instead of a winger. So how did they discover that role for you?
I think it was the North Korea game where I got called back in. thankful to Coach D for giving me another chance, another opportunity, and to Boss Dan Palami as well for that. I just remember that game. I was just so happy to be called up and be back in the camp. And when Coach called me to get ready and I'm going on with a little bit of time left, I was like, I'm going all out. I'm just running. And I think that game, like, we come on and I did really well that game. And we came back from that game. I think then it was sort of like James can be an option as well, coming off the bench. I think Coach Dooley sort of sees that and says that's an option. And I think he took that option in this last game as well. I just feel it's like I'm always watching the game, even like if I'm starting. Oh, of course I'm watching if I'm starting, but I mean if I'm on the bench, I'm always watching the game. I'm watching little details. I'm watching my brother play, but I try and analyse the game and see like what I can do if I can come on. And yeah, I've said if that's the role, I'm happy to take that role. I'm just happy to, as Phil said, we're happy to contribute, whether what position or how long you play, but as long as you feel like you're part of it and you feel involved, and we'll take it. And I see that as a role as well for the Philly. But as starting or non-starting, I'm happy to just be part of the team, part of the group.
As you get older and you gain more experience, you know, you have a different perspective. Maybe when we were younger, you know, if you're not playing in your favourite position or you're not playing in the team or you have a different role within the squad, then, you know, you can sort of, you know, throw your toys out the pram and spit your dummy out. But I think as you get older and more experienced, you know, you sort of realise the value and the reasons behind decisions made. You know, you put yourself in other people's positions. One word we like is empathy. You know, we try and practice empathy, put ourselves in the positions of the coach, of our teammates, of our friends and family, and how they feel. And I think that's given us a better, you know, outlook on life and definitely helped our performance. And James's attitude, you know, during those times when, you know, a lot of players would have not been happy they were playing. James was, you know, showed a good attitude, worked really hard, showed the coach that I deserve this. And he was rewarded, and I think that's a lesson I've learned from my brother, and I'm sure a lesson that he's learned for himself.
So it's the words for today are progression and empathy.
Empathy.
We'll do 3 words. We'll think of one more word.
Empathy is a good word for leadership.
Progression, empathy.
Yeah. So this is the Asian Cup, but then you can see that there are still fans who are quite divided. So there are people who are still doubting, or even some other countries who are doubting the potential of the Philippines. Like it might be just because it's the luck of the draw or anything. So what do you want to prove to everyone? In this, there's the upcoming Suzuki Cup this year, and for the rest of your preparation.
I don't agree it's the luck of the draw. Like I said, we just missed out back in the Challenge Cup in 2014, and we played against these teams. These were challenging teams that we played against, and Yemen as well have qualified. And like I think it's when it comes down to the pressure, like we had chances, but we left it to the last game, but that's a lot of pressure, but I'm looking forward to Asian Cup, to proving some people wrong about the luck of the draw claims, but I'm glad we got the opportunity to prove them wrong.
I mean, you know, anyone can make any excuse or give any reason. I mean, you can say the luck of the draw. You can then we could say, oh, but we had to travel 25 hours just to get, you know, travel a place that's only 6 hours away. You know, there's a lot of things that go on that people don't know about, and, you know, behind the scenes. So a lot of the preparation that goes on off the field, you know, a lot of people aren't aware of. So this team, this squad, everyone who's been part of this journey has been through a lot and has made a lot of sacrifices to reach this goal. And I think, you know, everyone should be positive and be happy that we've been able to achieve this, because you know, it hasn't been easy. It's been difficult. There's challenges, there's hurdles all the time. You know, whether it's financial support. You know, we're competing against countries, you know, who their number one sport is football, and there's players earning more than what, you know, not average, but, you know, mid-tier players in their countries that are earning more than what is invested in Philippine football. So you can put it all in perspective, and it's amazing, you know, where the Philippines has achieved. And obviously, you know, we want to be more consistent and continue with success, but then again, that depends on what players, you know, are available. Some players get injured, some players can't travel because of the international dates. Some players play abroad, but this is progression, and I think it's that's the most important thing. And I think people have to be more positive. There's too much negativity for me. But people have to be positive and focus on the good things and the upside.
Yeah. So, is there more pressure for you guys for this coming Suzuki Cup? Yes, like to aim for the gold, because I think that's what people want to see.
Yeah, there's pressure,
Yeah.
but I think as players we enjoy pressure. I think we proved that in the last game. I think that this recent achievement can give us confidence as well going into the Suzuki Cup. Looking at the way that the new structure of Suzuki Cup, I think that, especially the timing of it right before Asian Cup, that could help us as well, like in terms of preparing for Asian Cup. But of course, I said, like, some people are like, oh, this is a massive achievement and should be happy. I'm really happy with it. But being honest, I still want to achieve more. I'm sure Phil wants to achieve more. I'm sure the coach wants to achieve more. I'm sure Dan wants to achieve more. I'm sure all the players want to achieve more. You always want to be hungry, and for us, we're looking for Suzuki Cup, at least get into the final or champions, and yeah.
We talk again. We want to progress, and we want to. Semi-finals is our best achievement in the southeast in the Suzuki Cup. So we want to push for the final and hope to win it. Thailand and Vietnam will also be at the Asian Cup. And they'll be there in the Suzuki Cup. So it'll be good preparation for all the teams for the Asian Cup. We hope to do well because that will be good for our confidence. But again, we hope that the scheduling, with the domestic league, with all the games that happen in the Suzuki Cup, that it's not too much before the Asian Cup, because we want to be going into the Asian Cup in our best condition possible and with the best preparation. So we hope there's a good plan in place and everything can come together nicely. We hope to progress and to do better than we did last time.
So what's next for you and the Azkals for the rest of the year until Asian Cup, or maybe even 2022?
I think now we're focused on our club team, our domestic league, us with Davao Aguilas. We're training every day, and we're looking. We want to do really well. We're aiming for that league title. So for us personally, we've been with Davao Aguilas. Azkals, I think the next international window will be June. So I think I'm sure they're coming to want to arrange friendly games to get the group together to make sure we're still familiar with each other. And I think looking to win those games and keep the positivity going. But yeah, it's just Davao Aguilas at the moment for us.
Right now our priority is staying healthy, staying fit, staying in the best condition possible. Using this confidence from what happened with the national team and bringing it into our performances domestically. With the national Azkals, we'll have to wait for management's plans, but those will be important, as I just mentioned. For our preparation for the Asian Cup and Suzuki Cup. So we'll wait to hear from them, and until then, we won't know. But our focus right now is on making sure that we give our best performances for Davao Aguilas, because the best thing for our confidence is that we keep playing well and keep giving our all and working hard.
Sir Dan Palami mentioned that he has this Bayanihan initiative to provide TV broadcast to PFL and even Azkals. So what do you think?
Was it 1,000 pesos a year?
Yeah, something like that, or even like 10 pesos a day.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think of this initiative? It's for PFL and the Azkals.
I think it's great. Football's for everyone. Football's for all, and we need to all support each other. I think that it's not just solely for the players, not just solely for the ones involved in the camp or the ones in Manila or Bacolod. It's for everyone, the whole of the Philippines. So I think it would be a great sign and a great way to see if we progress in terms of coming together and getting the funds required together to really push the sport and develop it. Because as well, we want to develop the sport for the young generation, the young kids as well, the young kids who are training right now and who maybe watched the game against Tajikistan and want to achieve more milestones for the Philippines. So we have to be thinking long term, and I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we were speaking to management last week, sorry, and one of the things that we'd like to do is make our preparation and the Asian Cup, as do it as one, do it as a nation. If you contribute to having TV broadcasted, that is your contribution. That is your way in helping grow the sport of Philippine football, because Philippine football needs exposure, and if that's your contribution, you can know that I contribute to Philippine football. I gave X amount, and I was able to help Philippine football grow. And whether that's through private sponsors or whether that's through, as you said, this initiative where we can have the public contribute and help grow the sport, then I think it's the best thing to do is investigate all possibilities. Look into all possibilities of making sure that we have the best exposure, the sport has the most exposure possible, and there's progress. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. Obviously, it's something to look into. You have to obviously do a survey and find out who wants to do it. But if it doesn't work, then you have to look for find another way, find another route. But I think it's a great idea, and hopefully people are willing to contribute and help grow the sport.
And there are also, you guys are eyeing some new recruits from abroad and local. So what do you think of these players, like the one from Sweden?
Yeah.
Yes, you have some new recruits coming in. Like, what do you think of Phil foreigners and the local players joining the Azkals?
Of course, that's always going to be a little issue. Well, not little, but I think it's important to have that balance. But at the end of the day, Phil said, what is the requirements to be? We're all Filipinos. We all have Filipino blood. There's always we have a player whose parents are full Filipino, but they lived in the US and they were raised there. How can you say they're not full Filipino? Their son's not full Filipino, or you have the locals here who grew up here, but then you have some who maybe grew up in Europe. I mean, come on, let's be serious. We're all Filipinos here. We can represent the country. We all want to play for the Philippines, and we all want to do well together. And I think if a player's good enough and they're Filipino blood, they should be playing for the national team. And if they can contribute their football skills and help us achieve more things, then let's do it.
For me, obviously bringing in Phil foreigners, it's a short-term answer. But while you're doing that, it's important that we make sure that the programs are in place and we're doing the right things and making the right decisions to ensure that players growing up here are getting the right training, getting the right amount of exposure, playing enough football and doing the right things to make sure that they can progress and play for the Azkals as well and the national team. But bringing in new players, that's obviously we want to make the team as strong as possible going into the Asian Cup. So we have heard the names. We haven't met them yet. We don't know which specific players will be available during that time. But obviously, bringing in players to make the team stronger can only help. But on the issue of James, as
it's not much.
The issue you
talked about.
Spoke about. I think Rob put it nicely. He said the blood that flows through the players that grew up here is just as strong as the players that grew up abroad. The Filipino blood that flows through us is just as strong as the blood that flows through those who grew up here. So we're very much Filipino. We grew up with Filipino values. We may have a different, upbringing within football, but that doesn't make us not Filipino.
Yeah, and every player who's played for the national team has as well.
So before we conclude this talk, have you guys thought of your third word? Progression, empathy.
Progression,
empathy.
I think it's a bit cheesy here. I think the questions you asked have been very good, and I think it's time we all come together. We want what's best for Philippine football. I think we need to. I'll use unite. It's good to be united, be united, and this is. We really want the Philippines to do well, and we want to make everyone happy in Philippine football. Of course, it's good to have competition, and we want the best for Philippine football. And now we want the national team to achieve great success. We want the domestic league to grow, and lots of like a future goal for young kids to aspire to as careers in football, and live the life of a footballer, because it's a great life, and it's like doing something you love and enjoy for a living is great. And also having the grassroots plan involved, where you have the system, you have the kids, and there's football fever in the Philippines, and as well we have other sports as well, so everyone has the choice to play whatever sport they want to do. So.
Third word, attitude. Yeah, attitude. That was when we spoke about earlier. I think having a good attitude, would always, no matter. We talk about players with talent and players that have all the talent in the world but they don't work hard. But then there's players that work hard but don't have as much talent, and you see the person that has the best attitude and works the hardest that goes the furthest. So yeah, that's the third word, attitude.
Okay, so this is James Younghusband and Phil Younghusband from the Philippine Azkals, and they are looking to take Philippine football to greater heights. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, B.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are so many questions.